Spiritual Living Port Angeles on another beautiful Thursday evening in December, mid-December. Today is the 15th of December, and it is a very special day because it is Reverend Clancy's birthday today, and also my nephew Michael, and they are dramatically different in ages. She is celebrating 80 years young. We are extremely glad to have her here on this planet, especially me, otherwise I wouldn't be here. So, I'm going to invite us, Catherine up, who will do our opening song. God is all there is. I invite you to take this time during the song to breathe, to ground, to let the day go, to turn off your cell phones. And just take this song as a way to get ourselves present, fully present, right here, right now. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of this life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of this life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. Take a breath. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of this life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. Last time. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of this life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. So it is. Take that breath. There's only one power and one presence, and we are it. All of this manifest universe is this powerful force in action, in form. We are definitely it. Catherine, I'll invite you back over there. We've got just a couple of quick announcements. We have game night happening tomorrow night, 7 to 9 p.m. We play board games and card games, social time. It normally would be in the barn. It's a little brisk, so we may very well come around the kitchen table and meet in this house. So we'll look at that tomorrow, but it might be a little brisk to be in the barn, even with the heater. On the 23rd, we will be off on the Fun Day Friday for the holidays, and we're noodling around with a Releasing 2016 ritual for the 30th of December, which is a Friday night. So stay tuned for that. I'll make an announcement about that next week. It's come into consciousness about, that might be a really good thing to do. So let go of this year and welcome in the new. So we're going to do that. I'm going to invite Reverend Clancy up for our opening reading, a brief time of silence, which I will bring us out of with a little gong, and then she will give us a beautiful opening prayer. And then we will go into another gorgeous song by Catherine.
Ernest Holmes wrote, "There is a place in us which lies open to the infinite. But when the Spirit brings its gift by pouring itself through us, it can give to us only what we take." Let's go into a quiet time. And we breathe into the gift of knowing that we are reminded in this special time of year that there is only love, only light, peace and harmony and balance. Love. Because that is the truth, then it must be through and in and as everyone everywhere. No exceptions. And the gift that has already been given is our life, our freedom, our opportunity to claim that which has already been given as our peace, as our balance, as our harmony, as our joy. And coming together in community, gathering in an awareness and a consciousness of the limitless possibilities, the limitless potential for the highest good for each person everywhere. Is that natural gift. I'm so grateful this is truth. Because it is truth, I can simply rest in knowing that it's a principle. It's always action. And it is done. This prayer is complete. And so it is. And so it is. So it is.
Abide. Silence of angels waiting, our time is near. Human hearts tremble, receiving sight, now I hear. And Spirit of tribe, Spirit of Christ, in you I trust and in you abide. Spirit you've tried, Spirit you've cried, in you I rest and in you I rest and in you I rest and in you abide, abide, abide.
Thank you, Catherine. When Catherine brought that song to me this week for us to take a look at, I liked it because it acknowledges all of us, all of our humanity. You know, sometimes we wrestle, we wonder what's going to happen to me, and we cry out, you know, where are you in my time of need? And you is not anything outside of us, but it's recognizing that where is that connection that I'm longing for between myself and others, between myself and the divine. So I really like the message of that song. That when I hear the Spirit I've tried and Spirit I've cried, it wasn't crying, wah, crying. It was Spirit I've cried, in you I trust, and in you I abide. Because there's nowhere else to be. There's nowhere else to be for us except in spirit, because it's everywhere. It's the air we breathe. We're fish swimming in an ocean of God. And we don't recognize that sometimes. I don't know if the fish know they're in water. Tonight's topic is You Are the Gift. We get a lot of stuff in this time of year. The holidays have become sort of commercialized in so many ways, and yet I want us to come back tonight to the essential parts of this time. That each one of us is a divine gift. We wouldn't be here otherwise. We would not be here otherwise. Again, I took a lot of my talk tonight from You Are a Badass, because she's still inspiring me. She says, we are born knowing how to trust our instincts, how to breathe deeply. If you look at a baby sleeping, they breathe from their diaphragm automatically. Their tummy goes up and down. We breathe up here. We forget how to breathe. So we know how to trust our instincts, how to breathe deeply, how to eat only when we're hungry, how to not care about what anyone thinks of our singing voices, dance moves, or hairdos. We know how to play, create, and love without holding back. You see that in a 2, 3, 4-year-old. We had a lovely woman and her 4-year-old daughter over the other night for dinner. And she is this delight, this unfettered spirit. She knows how to play and create and love. She had never met any of us before and gave all of us big hugs. That's how I like to be in the world. She says then, as we grow and learn from the people around us, we replace many of these primal understandings with negative false beliefs, fear, shame, and self-doubt. Then we wind up in emotional and physical pain. Then we either numb our pain with drugs, sex, booze, TV, Cheetos, etc., or we settle for mediocrity, or we rise to the occasion, remember how truly mighty we are, and set out to relearn everything we knew at the beginning all over again. Has anybody else had that experience? We knew that we knew. We forgot that we knew, and then we began to remember, to come back to that deep remembering of who we really are. I remember somebody telling me when I was 5, I would go to kindergarten wearing my bathing suit and my tutu and my high top sneakers every day. And I didn't care. And nobody stopped me. Nobody said, you can't wear that to school. That's what she wore, a bathing suit or tutu and high top sneakers. I would love to be able to go out in the world like that. Years ago, when my mom and I were in St. Louis and doing inner child workshops, she would invite people on the last day of the workshop to come dressed as their inner child, if they chose. And so some friends of mine and I said, well, we're doing it. I had longer hair then, and I put like 12 pigtails all over my head, and I was wearing overalls, and I have some slippers that look like bumblebees. Big, fat, puffy slippers that I call them my bee slippers. And we went out to lunch in one of our break time or recess times. We went out to lunch to a Chinese restaurant, and I said, I'm walking around with my bee slippers on, my bee slippers on. And I didn't care what anybody thought of me. That was a feeling that I like to recapture. That's one of the reasons I think I'm a drama teacher in schools and have been in my life, because I get to play a lot. I get to tap into that childlike energy of who we really are, this unfettered joy. There comes this time where we begin to listen to outside voices. We begin to listen to the you can'ts, you shouldn't, you mustn'ts. So when I talk about unwrapping your own gift, unwrapping yourself, I don't know how many of you have heard about some tricks that people play at Halloween where they put a flaming bag of dog poop on somebody's porch and they come out and they try to stomp out this thing, and it's terrible and disgusting. So what I want to encourage us to do is stop unwrapping the flaming poop bag of our life that somebody else left on our porch. We don't have to stomp it out and create more of a mess. Somebody else left it there. We don't have to get involved in it. Refuse to allow others' limits to define you. Just refuse. There are many of us that have taken leaps in life. Leaps where we didn't know what was going to happen next, whether it's a relationship or a job or a place to go. Sometimes lots of us do it over and over and over again. We keep leaping out into the unknown, trusting that we will be caught. And that takes some courage, and it takes a willingness to refuse to be defined by somebody else's limits, because there's always going to be somebody who says, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, oh, that's too risky. I could never do that. But when we're 4 and 5, we think we can do everything, right? We can do everything. I can fly, I can climb the tallest tree, I can be anything I want to be. And people encourage that when we're 4 and 5. Oh yeah, you can be a fireman and a princess and a nurse all together, whatever you want to be. Great. And then all the shoulds and the can'ts and the mustn'ts start to squish us down into a smaller and smaller box. And some of us sometimes bust out. We say, no, that is not the truth of me. In the Science of Mind textbook, Reverend Clancy read, there is a place in us which lies open to the infinite, but when the Spirit brings its gift by pouring itself through us, it can give to us only what we take. If we persist in saying that life will not give us that which is good, God will not answer my prayers, or with my luck, this is how it's going to be, it cannot give us that which is good. For life must reveal itself to us through our intelligence. Now, it doesn't just mean mind intelligence. It means that deeper wisdom, that instinct, that intuition that we all have. The pent-up energy of life and the possibility of further human evolution work through our imagination and will. The time is now, the place is where we are, and it is done to us as we believe. We've heard those words a lot in many, many places. Many faith traditions say, it is done to you as you believe. And so we get to explore what we're believing. We get to begin to choose. We must be willing to receive the good that is constantly pressing up against us. She's very adamant about that in this book, and all of the spiritual books I've read are adamant about this point. If we're not willing to receive, the universe can't give it to us. It sits out there fallow, like a field that no one pays attention to. She says, imagine how different your reality would be and the reality of everyone surrounding you if you woke up every morning certain of your own lovability and your critically important role on this planet. No matter what you do, you are critical to the life of this planet, to the life of each other. And if you poo-pooed shame, guilt, self-doubt, and self-loathing and allowed yourself to be, do, and have everything that your little heart desired, just imagine that. Just imagine. Now, she talks about having everything your heart desires, and Ernest Holmes has talked about this too, that does no harm. Doesn't mean I'm going to take over here. Oh, I desire all your stuff. Give it to me. You know, that it's our good that does no harm to ourselves or anyone else. That is freely available to us. We just get to be willing to receive it. She also talked about this interesting idea that I love. She talks about be an alien. Imagine that you're an alien that came from another planet and then inhabited the body you are in. Become the observer. If you were an alien, I got this big flash. I don't know how many of you remember the TV show Quantum Leap, where Scott Bakula every week was thrust into a new life through this series of weird circumstances. And he had to discover, who is this person? What are their gifts? What are they doing in this life? Often through the, machinations of good TV writing, he would help that person, while he was being them, to discover more about their own life and who they really are. Who they really are. Not messed up and screwed up, but who they really are. And there would be some healing out of that experience. But every time he popped in, he had to get the lay of the land. So imagine you are an alien that's popped into you. She talks about this. I love the way she describes it. It's the main reason I'm reading these so specifically. 73. There we go. So these are the questions you would ask of yourself if you're observing yourself as the alien. What is this person so obviously awesome at? So if you were inhabiting you as an alien being, what is this person obviously awesome at? What do they have the most fun doing? What connections do they have? Scott Bakula had to figure that out, his character. Who is this person to me? Is that my husband or my wife or my brother? What are my connections here? And what resources and opportunities are available to us? So we can choose to be an alien in our own life and imagine that we pop in and look at us differently. I somehow doubt we would begin to pick us apart the way we do so effectively in our everyday life. She says this exercise is hugely helpful for getting a new perspective and stepping outside of our boring-ass ruts of tired old excuses and lame habits. It can also be very useful in making you aware of all the staggering possibilities and resources that you have at your fingertips and either take for granted or do not see. Sometimes we just need to look with new eyes. So if you are the gift, let's just pretend that you are this amazing gift that the universe has chosen to give to itself. How can we begin to remember that? To re-remember who we really are? She talks about drowning yourself in affirmations. Just drown yourself in them. She says that yes, at the beginning it may feel like you're lying to yourself, but the truth is you're living the lie of your own inadequacy. So the affirmations get you back to truth. You may see me do this move a lot. It's, for me, a reminder that I want to become back in alignment with the one presence of who I really am. Sometimes I'm out here. I forget. I'm unaligned. So if I drown myself in affirmations, I put Post-its everywhere, my car mirror, not to block my view, but my bathroom mirror, the first thing, my phone in the morning, if I look at it when I wake up, wherever my eyes rest on a regular basis, drown yourself in affirmations that really make you feel good. There's going to be a little part of your mind that might be going, yeah, right. But that's the lie. That's the lie. And these affirmations are bringing us back to the truth of who we really are. She also talks about finding replacement thoughts. I like this one a lot. My mom is a semantics queen, so am I. We are always trying to find the right word that really speaks to us. And like, just for a simple example, we don't pay bills. We pay agreements. It's a replacement thought that contains within it a much bigger idea. Bills, ugh, I don't want to pay my bills. Ugh, feels heavy, gross. Agreements, well, I have an agreement with the electric company. They give me electricity, I give them money. I have an agreement with the grocery store. They give me food, I give them money. I have an agreement with my car payment if I have one. Those are agreements I've made. And I like to keep agreements. I don't know about you, but I like to keep them. So I find that I pay those with a whole different feeling than when I got to pay my bills. So find replacements. She says, do not spend your life clinging to the insulting decisions you've made about yourself. Oh, I love that. The insulting decisions we have made about ourselves. I have said that I discovered at some point in my life that I was a child abuser. Not to anybody else, but to me. The things I said to me, the things I did to me when I was not quite awake, was abuse. And I wouldn't take that from anybody else. I would not stay in a relationship if somebody else said those things to me. I would not stay in a job. But I did. I stayed with myself. And I refuse to do that anymore. I refuse to cling to the insulting decisions that we've made about ourselves. Instead, make the conscious choice to replace them with new and improved decisions, new and improved ways of talking about who we really are. And if we are lucky enough to have someone around us who loves us and if catches us a little bit when we say something negative or something untrue or insulting about ourselves, then they can gently and lovingly say, really? Is that who you are? Or I don't see you that way. That's not how I see you. So we drown ourselves in affirmations. We find some replacement thoughts from the old habitual garbage we've been feeding ourselves. And stop comparing. Oh, that's a big one. I see so many single moms comparing themselves to all the other people out there that look like, as one woman said to me this week, like they've got it all together, and they don't. Nobody does. Nobody has it all together. Nobody does. We're just doing the best we can in every single moment. And as Oprah says, when we know better, we do better. So comparing ourselves to anybody else is an exercise in complete futility and a waste of our personal energy. I'm always going to be younger than somebody and older than somebody, and fatter than somebody and skinnier than somebody, and richer than somebody and poorer than somebody. Always. So why spend any time on that? Let it go. And the big one, forgive yourself. She says, you are not alone. Screwing up is not your special skill. I like that. Screwing up is not your special skill. You have other special skills. And everybody's good at screwing up. Everybody's really good at that. We got that one down. So let's learn something new. Let's learn how to be who we really are. This beautiful gift. When we share what we were brought here to give, we are in alignment with our highest, most powerful selves. When we share what we were brought here to give. Catherine showed up and began to get to share her music with a different, broader audience. I got to share the gift of singing that I love to do. I got to share harmony. I get to share who I am when I stand up here. Think about the little things in your life where you share who you are It might be as small as I did the dishes for my beloved, or I took them out to lunch for their birthday, or I cleaned up the house today. That's a gift. That's a huge gift. Or I took time to be creative and create a musical instrument. We share the gifts of who we really are. And she says a lot of times we struggle with, well, I don't know what my gift is. I don't know what it is. She says often it's not in the big thunderbolt of, aha, this is my purpose of life. She says, follow what are right feeling things. I like that expression, right feeling things. What feels right? And follow where they lead. That's how we ended up here. I followed a feeling in my chest, an openness, a spaciousness. When my husband asked me to marry him, I followed a feeling in my stomach, not in my heart, not in my head. My heart romanticizes, my head rationalizes, my stomach tells me the truth. Either yes or no. It knows the truth. So when I didn't know how it was going to work, because I was living in St. Louis and he was living in California and blah, 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 the long story of how I think it's going to work out, which is absolutely none of our business, I went instead inside and I said, give me a day, let me listen to my stomach, and I'll have an answer for you. And I sat with it. I got quiet. I asked the question. I'm staying in St. Louis, I'm not marrying Will. And I noticed what happened in my body. I'm marrying Will and I don't know how it's going to work out. And I noticed what happened in my body. We know our yes. We know our no. We ignore them often. Often. If we can just remember to take a breath and get quiet. Discover the yes. Discover the no. No matter the decision, should I turn right or left? Should I go to that place today or not? There is a deep wisdom within all of us that we can begin to access. She says our fantasies are our realities in an excuse-free world. If we fantasize about, I've always wanted to be a rock star, I've always wanted to run an orphanage, I've always wanted to feed the hungry, those fantasies are realities without all of our lame excuses and insulting decisions. There's something that's tugging at us that is probably part of our gift. She also talks about most of us don't just have one gift. They morph over time. My family, all of us changed jobs a number of times, changed careers, not just jobs, but my mom was a school teacher and then a minister and now still a minister. I've been a drama teacher and a minister and I've worked in offices. I've had lots of things that I'm good at and that were part of my gift. So we share them at different phases and times of our life. So take a breath and close your eyes. And begin to just ask yourself, what do I love to do? What makes time disappear for me? It doesn't matter if it's some big, dramatic, deep, and meaningful thing in the world. Just something you love that lets that little kid play and time disappear. Might this be your gift? Or at least a small part of it? A facet of this gift? Prayers are not a beseeching to some outside force. Prayers are a directing of the law, of the good, that is always coming towards us. So I'm going to invite you just to embody these words. And the reason I have you close your eyes is because it helps sometimes to block out all the external input and really hear. Prayer does something to the mind of the one praying. It does not do anything to God. The eternal gift is always made. The gift of God is the nature of God, the eternal givingness. God cannot help making the gift because God is the gift. We do not have to pray God to be God. God is God. We do not have to pray to God to be God, because God is God through us, as us, and each one of us is the divine gift in form, no matter what. And so it is. Take a breath. Seek your gifts. Ask questions. Be not afraid. Notice insulting decisions you may have made about yourself. Bask and drown yourself in affirmations. Forgive. Stop comparing. And discover some replacement thoughts. These are your homework for this week. Just see how it goes. Experiment. Try it out. It couldn't hurt, right? Couldn't hurt. This is our time for giving and receiving. I remember when I first started coming to a spiritual center, I was not comfortable with this tithe word. Didn't work for me. And I didn't have a lot of extra resources in my life, financial resources at that time. And as I began to just practice giving a tiny percent of what was unexpected in my life, this was a practice that became easier with time, I started writing down unexpected good that came to my life, because my budget was pretty tight and the money I knew was coming in. So I might somebody would buy me lunch, I'd write it down. Somebody would give me a pair of shoes, I'd write it down. Before we had phones and we could keep track of it there. And then I began to give to the spiritual center I happened to be going to, because that was a place I felt I was being fed. And I started to give 3% of my unexpected good. So my other stuff was already budgeted, and I didn't feel I could give in that time anything out of that because it was so tight. So I only gave on my unexpected good. And inevitably, enough cash would come in unexpectedly. I might find money on the ground. Somebody might just slip 20 bucks in my pocket. I mean, I wasn't talking about it, but somehow money kept showing up. So I always had enough cash to cover the 3% agreement that I had made to myself. I didn't tell anybody else I was doing this. My spiritual center didn't count. They didn't care. So I started tithing 3%, and I never had less money. And I said, ooh, that's an interesting experiment. Let's try 5. So I tried 5% of my unexpected good. Still didn't have less money. I upped it to 10%. Still didn't have less money. And now I tithe on every penny that comes into my home, into my life. I just do it because I see that it keeps working as creating the ingress and the egress, the eternal flow of good in my life. I give to those places that support me spiritually and things in this world that I want to see more of. So I give to the Southern Poverty Law Center. I give to KPBS, a local station down in San Diego, the NPR station, and we're gonna switch and give it up here. So we look for those places in the world that support what we want to have more of in this world. And for me, that also includes my spiritual center, because I want more of this in the world. So I invite us, if you choose, to hold the gift that you're giving against your heart. And gifts come in many forms: time, talent, and treasure. And if you choose, I invite you into the conscious giving prayer that's in your program. I am open to give. I am open to receive. I am grateful to be in the flow of life through and as me. Our closing song is Own Great Spirit, written by Catherine. I invite you to sing. If you choose, let the vibrational sounds fill you. invite us to have tea and snacks in the kitchen. Thank you for joining us this evening. I am so grateful to have this place and all of you here tonight.